The biggest YouTube advice you'd find when you're starting your YouTube channel is that you need to start sharing your YouTube channel with your friends and family so that you get support. Well, I did the exact opposite, and today I have grown up to 500 subscribers, and I can't wait to tell you the strategy that I used to get from 0 to 500 subscribers without any external promotion. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Gloria, and let's get to it. Now, in order for you to understand why I decided not to do any external promotions for my YouTube channel, I first need to bring you back to the way I was thinking when I was starting my YouTube channel. And because this was not my first rodeo ride with YouTube, it required me to actually sit down and analyze and see what were the things that I didn't like about my previous channels that I didn't want to bring to this channel. And so the first reason why I decided I'm not going to do any external promotions to my YouTube channel was I did not want to have any external influence in terms of the topics, the way I'm gonna be doing my videos, as well as how I'm gonna be showing up on my YouTube channel. And let me break it down. So in my previous two YouTube channels, what had actually happened is I followed the normal advice of sharing your YouTube channel with friends and family so that you get the support. So I did that for a good 6 months, and yes, I did grow in subscribers. But now what became a problem was the only people who would tell me what to do, because I only needed to create content that they can realistically watch, was the people who had subscribed to my YouTube channel. So I had to dig deep and figure out what my friends would like to know, what my family would like to know, so that I create content around those topics. And yes, it was a fail because I started my YouTube channel for me as well, but the person who was behind the channel, who was me, I didn't have a voice. And so I decided with this particular YouTube channel, I'm not going to share it externally, and I am going to ensure that the people who are growing on my community are 100% organic. So my content is the one that has made them decide to actually subscribe to my YouTube channel. The second reason I did not promote my YouTube channel externally was because I had a hidden agenda. I wanted to discover what kind of creator I would be on YouTube without necessarily getting external influence from other social media channels. Because as you guys all know, when you are a creator, you tend to dip your toes in a lot of these social media platforms. And so for YouTube, I wanted it to be my ground of experimenting, because naturally I am a strategic thinker, and I wanted a platform that was going to accommodate the way I think, as well as the way I structure how I do my things, the way I do them. And so YouTube was one of those platforms that I was like, this is the best place for me to figure out what kind of creator personality do I want to have, how do I want to be sharing my strategies with people who actually subscribe to my YouTube channel, and all the things, all the personal traits and the experiments and the projects that I wanted to do, I wanted to do them on YouTube. And so I didn't want to share this part of myself externally, because I really wanted to ensure that the platform that I'm creating for myself does not necessarily attract the people in my life who would come and criticize the way I think, the way I look about how I do things, and honestly, the kind of creator personality I was going to come up with. Because right now I'm confident in my skin. I definitely love the way that I present myself on YouTube, and I definitely love the way that I am doing my channel, or rather I'm doing the videos that I push to my YouTube channel right now. The other reason why I did not externally promote my YouTube channel was because of the mighty YouTube algorithm. One of the key things that made me not succeed in my other two channels was the reason that I didn't really understand how the YouTube algorithm works. And so I started this channel with a key expectation of myself, whereby I really wanted to understand how the YouTube algorithm works. And in order for me to understand how the YouTube algorithm works, I really had to bear with the consequence of my actions, which essentially meant that I was not going to grow as fast as I wanted to. Because in order for the YouTube algorithm to understand how I work as a professional, or rather how my content is going to appeal to my ideal clients or my ideal people, it will take a bit of time for the YouTube algorithm to match me with the right kind of people. And so with that in mind, I really decided consciously that I was not going to promote my YouTube channel externally, because this would interfere with the process of the YouTube algorithm kind of like understanding what is my niche, what are my people, who are my tribe, and help them find their way to my YouTube channel. And so the YouTube algorithm is one of the wonders of this particular technology, because I am so fascinated by how the YouTube algorithm works now that I understand how the YouTube algorithm works. And by the way, if you have questions about how the YouTube algorithm works, make sure to let me know in the comment section, and I'm going to do a dedicated video telling you exactly what I learned about the YouTube algorithm, what it takes to go viral on YouTube, because I have gone viral on YouTube, I think 4, maybe 5 times, and it's such a fascinating thing for me. So if you're interested, feel free to let me know in the comment section, and I'm gonna do that video for you. Now let's talk about how I was able to actually grow my YouTube channel from 0 to 500 subscribers. Now, the first thing that I actually did is I really got clear on what my identity was. So I sat down with myself and I asked myself, okay, who is the Gloria that I want to put out there? Who is the Gloria that I want people to associate competence and diligence with when it comes to content creation? And so getting clear on my identity meant I had to do these 3 things. And so the first thing that I had to do is I had to figure out what my philosophy is as a creator and as someone who's actually trying to become well known in this space. That meant I had to look inward. I had to figure out what are the values that I actually have as a person, what is the level of quality and competence that I want to exhibit and show the people who are going to subscribe to my YouTube channel, as well as I really had to ask myself really introspective questions and figure out what is the kind of persona I'm going to embody when people actually come and see my YouTube channel. What is the feeling they're gonna live out my YouTube channel with when they go through my content, when they see one of my pieces of content on YouTube. Because essentially, it has to start with you figuring out what is the identity that people are going to relate to, what is the philosophy that you are trying to spread out there. Because if you didn't know this, as a content creator, as someone who's creating content on YouTube, what people are actually essentially buying is your way of thinking. The second thing that I did is I sat down and I mapped out what my competitive advantage was. Now, if you don't know what your competitive advantage is, I would highly recommend you to go read this book called The Unfair Advantage. It is one of the books that has helped me really figure out what makes me different and what makes me unique in my space. And so if you don't know what your competitive advantage, that is a good read that I would absolutely recommend. And if you don't know where to read this, you can commit to Shortform, which is a platform that I've been using for a hot minute to actually go through the books that I actually read, which I'm going to include the link in the description down below. But essentially, you have to sit down and figure out what your competitive advantage is. That is what makes you different. What is your key differentiator that makes you a person of influence in the space that you want to be speaking about? And then the third thing that I did is I committed to lifelong learning as a YouTube creator. Now, when I'm talking about lifelong learning, I mean I do not conform to any particular thing. I usually sit down and I ask myself, why do I do the things that I do? And if I'm curious about a topic, I don't shy away from actually implementing that topic. Because at the beginning of this year, if you guys noticed, I started dipping my toes inside career development content as well as financial content here on the platform. Because a lot of you might have found me through my content creation video. By the way, if you haven't watched that video, I'm going to include it up here so that you can go and watch it. And a whole lot of you have actually found me through the content creation tips that I actually give out there. But this year I decided to dive my feet into career-driven content as well as financial content, because I feel that there's a lot I know about those particular topics. I'm not an expert, but because I'm curious about it and I know that I'm at least 2-3 steps ahead of someone who's starting out, I decided to try it out on my YouTube channel. And funny enough, it actually started working. So I decided to commit to lifelong learning and experimenting on my YouTube channel. And so that is something that has also propelled the growth of my YouTube channel. The second thing I did to ensure that I grow my YouTube channel is I actually streamlined my content production process. Because one of the things that actually holds us back when you're trying to build your YouTube channel, especially as a beginner, is not being consistent. And so these are the 3 steps that I actually took. The first thing that I did is I made sure that I have streamlined my content calendar, so I knew the days that I was going to be posting on YouTube, and I also knew the time that I was going to post on YouTube, which gave me enough time to figure out when I'm going to do the scripting, the editing, the filming, as well as the scheduling of my content, so that I can be able to stay consistent with my YouTube channel. And yes, I've had some rough around the edges period of time, because there were seasons that I didn't show up on my YouTube channel because life happened, but I made sure that at least I have a consistent content calendar or a consistent posting schedule that I was going to stick to, so that I can make sure I stay consistent. The second thing that I did is I ensured that I have distributed my workflow across the week. So it means that there are specific days that I was going to do the idea generation, as well as the searching, as well as the finding content topics. There were days that I was going to batch my scripting. There were days that I was going to batch my filming and what have you. So that ensured that I stick to posting the time that I was going to be posting. And then the third thing that I really didn't want to joke about was the quality. So here I actually asked for help, and I got to sit down with my partner, and we decided that I was going to actually do this entire background and what you guys can see, so that I ensure that every piece of content that is coming out on my YouTube channel is actually of some certain level of quality. And so there's a lot that goes behind the scenes of actually streamlining your production, but essentially you need to have a streamlined production workflow if you want to actually grow your YouTube channel. And then the other unconventional advice or tip that I would give you about growing on YouTube is committing to never give up. Because one of the things that makes me stay the course, even though I'm not yet monetized, is because I decided I'm not gonna give up. This is something that I've really wanted for a very long time, and I don't care how long it takes, I'm gonna stick to the journey. I'm going to stick to posting, I'm going to stick to showing up, I'm going to stick and commit to creating content on my YouTube channel until I get to the level that I want to be in. And so a lot of us do not get to see the YouTube success that we crave because we give up along the way. We decide that this is not something that's worth doing anymore. We decide that this is taking too long. We decide that because we're not getting instant gratification, which is the 1,000 subscribers and the 4,000 hours of watch time, we're not going to commit to posting. We're not going to commit to taking the action. We're not going to commit to creating the content to get us to the level that we want to get at. I decided that I was not going to conform to that, and I decided that I was going to commit to pushing and keep going until I get to the level that I want to be in. And so if you're out there, you've always wanted to start a YouTube channel, I know you might not want to consider my advice because I just hit 500 subscribers just the other day, but one thing that I would really tell you is please don't give up. If you decide to commit to building a YouTube channel, if you decide to become a YouTuber, make sure you stick the course. No matter how long it takes, everyone is on their own timeline, everyone is on their own YouTube journey, and my YouTube journey is well on its course to taking me to where I'm supposed to be in. It took me 3 years to hit 500 subscribers, but I still love the journey and I still love that I'm still here. So if you're there and you want to start a YouTube channel, let this be your, I don't know, guiding light guiding light to starting a YouTube channel and sticking the course. And so that is it with this particular YouTube video. I'm hoping that you guys found it helpful. If you did, then make sure to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I can't believe you guys got me to 500 subscribers because this is so surreal, honestly, for me. But thank you so much for watching this video until the end. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, or if you want to learn anything about YouTube, feel free to let me know in the comment section. But up to that point, I'm hoping that you guys have found this helpful, and I will see you in the next one.